Hello everyone, so first I would like to introduce myself. I am Monica Marquez, assigned to report about the topic entitled Cross-Price Elasticity of Demand. So before we proceed, I would like you to know why we need to study the cross-price elasticity of demand and what are the importance of cross-price elasticity of demand. So for business, cross-elasticity of demand is an important strategic tool. These elasticity measures can help determine whether or not this is good move to increase or decrease selling prices or the substitute one product for another to generate greater revenues. So cross elasticity of demand is important for us to understand how the quantity demanded of one product changes due to the change in price of the products substitute or its complement. If the price of a complement increases, the product's demand will fall. Cross elasticity will be negative. If the price or a substitute rises, the product's demanded will rise. Elasticity will be positive. To understand to what extent these price changes affect the product demand, we need cross elasticity values. In economics, the cross-elasticity of demand or cross-price elasticity of demand measures the responsiveness of quantity demanded for a good to change in the price of another good ceteris paribus. It measures as the percentage change in quantity demanded for the first good that occurs in responses to percentage change in price of the second good. Cross-price elasticity measures responsiveness of demand for good X following a change in the price of related good X. The cross-price elasticity of demand is the degree of responsiveness of quantity demanded of a commodity due to the change in price of another commodity. So therefore, in economics, the cross-elasticity of demand refers to how sensitive the demand for a product is to changes in price of another product. So the usefulness of cross-price elasticity of demand is the companies utilize the cross-elasticity of demand to establish prices to sell their goods. So what is cross-price elasticity of demand coefficient? The stronger the relationship between two products, the higher is the coefficient of cross-price elasticity of demand. So it means that if there is a stronger relationship, connection, or contribution between the two products, therefore, the result is it has a higher coefficient of the cross-price elasticity of demand. So, the three types of cross-price elasticity of demand. The first type of elasticity of demand is substitutes good. A substitute or substitutable good in economic and consumer theory refer to a product or services that consumers see essentially for the same or similar enough to another product, but simply a substitute is a good that can be used in the place of another. Substitutes are products in competitive demand. With substitutes, an increase in price of one good will lead to an increase in demand for a rival product. The value of cross-elasticity of demand for two substitutes is always positive. So therefore, the cross-elasticity of demand for substitute goods is always positive because the demand of one good increases when the price of the substitute good increases. So for example, if the price of the coffee increases, the quantity demanded for tea, a substitute beverage, increases as consumers switch to a less expensive yet substitutable alternative. This is reflected in the cross-elasticity of demand formula as both the numerator, percentage change in the demand of tea, and denominator, the price of the coffee show positive increases. In short, substitute goods are the two alternative goods that could be used for the same purpose. For example, two iPhones, one Android HTC, one iPhone Apple. In one sense, they are close substitutes, but to some consumer entirely different. So, substitutes present the consumer with alternative choices. If the price of one good increases, the demand of the substitute is likely to rise. Therefore, the substitutes have a positive cross-elasticity of demand. So, the graph of two substitute goods. In the diagram on the left, there is a fall in the price of Android phones, causing consumer to demand more movement along the demand curve. As a result, there is a fall in the demand of the substitute Apple iPhone, leading to the less demand. Close substitutes have a stronger positive cross-price elasticity of demand. Small change in relative price causes a big switch in consumer demand. If two goods are close substitutes, there will be a high cross-elasticity of demand. Example, if the price of Sainsbury's flour increases 10%, demand of Hobby's flour may increase by 20%. To consumers, there is a little difference between the two goods. Therefore, the cross-elasticity of demand is positive 2.0. So, to explain the close substitute, consider example of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. True, both will not give equal amount of satisfaction, but we can work out with any of them. Hence, they are close substitute. Weak substitutes good. If goods are weak substitutes, there will be a low cross-elasticity of demand. Example, if the price of the Daily Mail increases 10%, the demand for the Financial Times may only increase 1% by 1%. Therefore, the cross-elasticity of demand is 0.1. These two newspapers are weak substitutes. If the price of the margarine increases by 10%, demand for butter may rise 22%. The cross-elasticity of demand is 0.2. So, perfect substitute. Two goods are perfect substitutes if the utility consumer get from one good is the same as another. For example, a dollar from one forex company is worth the same as getting a dollar from a different forex company. A4 paper from Office Word gives the same utility as A4 paper from WH Smith. For explaining perfect substitute, let's take the example of two water supplying companies, Kinley and Deslery. You can easily choose between two of them, and they both will give equivalent amount of satisfaction, so these two will be substitute. So the second types of cross-price elasticity of demand is complementary goods. In economics, a complementary goods is a good whose appeal increases with the popularity of its complement. Technically, it displays a negative cross elasticity of demand, and that demand for it increases when price of another good increases. Complements are product in a joint demand. A fall in the price of one product causes an increase in demand for the complementary product. The value of cross-elasticity of demand to complements is always negative. Alternatively, the cross-elasticity of demand for complementary goods is negative. As the price of one item increases, an item closely associated with that item and necessary for its consumption decreases because the demand for the main good has also dropped. So for example, if the price of coffee increases, the quantity demanded for the coffee stir stick drops as consumers are drinking less coffee and need to purchase fewer sticks. And the formula, the numerator quantity demanded of stir stick is negative, and the denominator, the price of coffee, is positive. This results in a negative cross-elasticity of demand. When there is a strong complementary relationship, the cross-elasticity will be highly negative. A complementary good is a product or services that adds value to another. In other words, they are two goods that the consumer uses together. For example, cereal and milk, or a DVD and a DVD player. On occasion, the complementary good is absolutely necessary, as is the case with petrol and a car. However, a complementary good can add value to the initial product, for instance, pancakes and maple syrup. A complementary good is good that adds value to another, or a good that cannot be used without each. Complementary goods that cannot be used with each other are knowing to have a strong relationship. In other words, when the price goes up on one, the demand goes down for the other good. The examples include tennis balls and tennis racket, PlayStation and games, movies and popcorns, and phones and SIM cards. Complementary goods have negative relationship with each other, which means that when product X increases in price, demand for product Y falls. This is because fewer people buy product X due to the higher price. As a result, fewer people are also buying product Y, which only adds value to product X. In economics jargon, this is known as negative cross-elasticity of demand. Let us consider an iPhone. If its price increases by 10%, this may lead to lower level of demand. At the same time, if fewer people are buying iPhones, then there are also fewer people buying iPhone cases. It is because of this relationship that we'll consider this as complementary goods. Weak complementary goods. Not all complementary goods are the same. There are weak and strong complementary goods. Weak complementary goods respond to increases in price in a very limited way. In other words, they are not responsive to increase in price of complementary goods. However, if there is some connection between the two, if we take pancakes and maple syrup, an example, they are two complementary goods. Consumers use maple syrup with pancakes, but they also use other toppings. For instance, the consumer may use bananas or sugar instead. Therefore, whilst maple syrup is used to complement pancakes, there are many other alternatives that make the relationship between the two weak. In the price of maple syrup increases by 10%, but the demand of pancakes falls by 1%. The relationship is therefore weak. This is because the price increases of the complementary product has little effect on the demand of the other. Strong complementary goods. Strong complementary goods have a close relationship with each other. That is to say that one good is reliant on the other to add value. For example, we have a DVD and DVD player. These are known as strong complementary goods because they are pretty useless without one another. The relationship between strong complementary goods is very elastic. In other words, when the price of DVD player rises, the demand of DVDs is likely to fall. So, we can say that there is a negative cross elasticity between them. In fact, if you look at any product that could not be sold by itself, it is likely a strong complementary good. So if you could only use product X if you first had product Y, then they are strong complementary goods. So this picture shows the complementary goods graph. As we can see from the graph, when the price of an iPhone decreases, the demand for iPhone cases increases. This is because the demand for iPhone increases as more consumers are buying it at the lower price. In turn, though some consumers are demanding iPhone cases, which translate into high sales. The difference between complementary goods and substitute goods. Complementary goods are items that go together or are bundled together. For instance, a combo meal that includes a burger, chicken, or fish sandwich with fries or a salad and drink. Another example would be a gift basket that contains different candies, balloons, teddy bears, and cheese and flowers. By contrast, a substitute is an item that serves an alternative in place of another item. So instead of X, choose Y in this place. For example, you could have a Coke, Pepsi flavor, water, tea, or coffee. If coffee is too expensive, you can swap tea or a soft drink with in its place. With substitutes, if the price of one item were to increase in price, you'd see demand for an alternative item that could be used in its place rise. That would be due to the consumers switching from higher price item X to lower price Y. With complements, if the price of one or more items in the bundle or combo were to increase, we'd have a decrease in demand for a bundle or combo. To tell which kind of goods we're dealing with, we'd use cross price elasticity. Looking at this will tell us whether the items are substitutes, complement, or totally unrelated to each other. The third types of cross-elasticity of demand is unrelated product. Unrelated goods are products that have no connection or relationship to each other and do not affect other in any way. Unrelated products have zero cross-elasticity. The effect of changes in taxi fares or the market demand for just. So in short, unrelated goods are products that are bought and sold that have no connection or relationship, for example, t-shirts and tomatoes. So before we proceed, here are the key abbreviation notation of this topic. stands for cross price elasticity of demand. stands for on price elasticity of demand. Stands for quantity demanded for good X. PY is for price of related good Y. RX is the total revenue of good X. RY is total revenue of good Y. So let us proceed to the formula for cross-price elasticity of demand. So cross-price elasticity of demand equals to percentage change in quantity demanded in good X divided by percentage change in the price of Y. Take note that the different goods is involved in cross-price elasticity of demand. Example: the table shows price and demand for good Y and good X. So what is the cross-price elasticity of demand of good X? So here is the solution. As you can see, the price of good Y decreases for 200 pesos and has an effect of 50 units increases in number of units sold. And for the good X, there is an also increase of 50 units. So for this problem, we will compute cross-price elasticity of demand for good X. So let's start with the computation for quantity demanded for good X. So as you can see, we subtracted 300 by 250. So that's your change from 250 and get the amount increased by subtracting 250 from 300, and then we divide them with the all demand for good X, which is 250, to get the percentage change for quantity demanded for X, which is 20%. And then next is we will compute the percentage change in price of Y. So from this problem, we deduct 800 with 1,000. So why we do that? Because it decreases the price from 1,000 to 800. Therefore, it have decrease of 200 pesos. And to know the percentage change, we divide the decrease, which is 200, by original price of good Y, which is 1,000, and we get negative 20%. Meaning, we have decreased in term of price, we get an amount of or percentage of 20%. Therefore, the cross price elasticity of good X is equal to 20% divided by negative 20%, equivalent to negative 1. So that would be all, and thank you.